Rafi Shubeli is a Yemenite-Israeli historian and activist, and he joins me now from Rehovot in Israel. Welcome to the program. Now, this is an incredibly sad story, and the package we've seen also very sad. But first of all, could you give us some background? Who were the Yemenite Jews, and why did they go to Israel?
Well, the Yemenite Jews is part of a number of Jewish communities that was in the Islam world. And when it started to immigrate to Israel from mostly economic and national, maybe you can call it Zionist reasons, even before Israel was declared. And the rest of them came, most of the rest of them came at the late 40s because the situation in Yemen was very fragile at that time. When they came, all their possessions, not only the children, all their jewelry, all their clothing, all their manuscripts, Jewish old manuscripts, and the children were taken away from them. Not all the children, but many, many children were kidnapped from their families. As you mentioned before, the parents were told the children were died. There were no graves at the time. There were shown no bodies, no graves. And it resulted in a 70-year protest against the Israeli state. Okay. Let me just say that the decision that we are now facing, and this is why you have this item now, the decision that took place this week does not reflect goodwill on the part of the government. It reflects, it was made under a pressure of dozens of lawsuits against the government and the state and the Jewish agency that was filed on behalf of the families by me and my friends. And in order to take these lawsuits out of the court, this decision was made.
Rafi, and recently you gave evidence in Israel's parliament in relation to the children, the missing and kidnapped children. What did you tell them?
Well, what I have told all the politicians that I have met, that their hope that we will get tired and go home and stop fighting over this issue will be in vain. 70 years now we are in a protest movement that goes higher and higher, and we are willing to continue this for decades ahead if they won't give us formal recognition of crimes that was done against our communities, all the Eastern Jewish communities, Yemenites, of course, but all the other ones.
Rafi, let me just jump in here. Why would anybody do this? Why would they kidnap children, babies? Why?
Well, it has similarities between other affairs in the world that took place at the same time: Australia, England, Greece, United States, Canada, and so forth. But it has also have particular reasons that are connected to Israel and its history. Well, Israel is a country of immigrants, mostly immigrants, that part of them came from Europe and part of them came from other countries in Asia and Africa and South Europe, which means that white people met here colored people, and were supposed to be the same nation. But this encounter is very problematic, and issues of racism, stereotyping, skin color is part of this years, is part of the how state viewed these populations that came from the Middle East. They saw them as a problem. that needs to be solved. And part of the solution was to take the children out. They will have a better life. They will probably get a proper education. Their identity will not be Middle Eastern. They will be sort of Europeans with dark skin.
Rafi Shubeli, thank you so much for sharing this story, which I think is quite an untold story in the world. Thank you so much, Yemeni Israeli historian and activist, and good luck with the rest of the campaigning.